What's up, guys? Moonman here and Big Country, and we're here in Blue Ridge, Georgia today at the Tilley Baptist Church to check out the church and the crazy story behind it. But not just that, we're here joined again by my good friend Esley from Entertainment Fanatic Reviews and his crew over there.
What's up, you guys?
And we're gonna have a lot of fun. Stay tuned. That looks like handprints there. It's crazy. So basically this church has its roots in the early 1800s, but this family has the roots, the Tilley family has roots in this far before that, but the church actually moved here. The cemetery was here far before the church. There used to be a school here, and they had to move here due to a local electric company wanting to make a reservoir, which became Blue Ridge Lake. So in the 1790s, the Creek Nation was actually removed from this area by the Cherokee, believe it or not, but they let them remain as long as they married into either Cherokee or with the white settlers. So many of them got to remain, which includes the protagonist of our story today, Miss Elizabeth Jane Tilley Bradley, who was of Creek ancestry and white. And Miss Bradley had 8 children, 6 daughters and 2 sons. One of her daughters actually married another Tilley, and one married a Stanley, a family they were feuding with. And the feud got to the point where it broiled so bad, years in 1864, the Tilleys actually killed Elisha, or Elisha, however it would be pronounced, Stanley at Stanley Gap, 6 miles from here, on his porch, and beat his daughter until she was disfigured. Well, one day in this small country church, the Stanleys sought their revenge, and they came out here and they shot it up, killing many, including the daughter of Elizabeth and her husband. And in direct retaliation, the Tilleys formed a little posse of family, and they went to Stanley Gap and raided the Stanleys while they slept. During this particular raid, one of her daughters who married the Stanley actually witnessed her husband be slain by the Tilleys, and which resulted in her going into labor and both her and the child passing away. And so Elizabeth, being of Creek ancestry, she practiced things such as what people today would probably call witchcraft. She put a curse saying that there would no longer be any children be born to both families so long as the feud was going. And sure enough, in the following year, all the children in the area either died within the first year of birth or were born stillborn. And people began to take notice, hearing the claims of Miss Bradley, and they started to get a little concerned. And the date is very obscure. It could be 1905 or 1906, but it was October 26th. Either way, they formed a posse, and they drug her out here to that tree, and they hung her, and they buried her where she fell and tried for witchcraft. Now, she was actually buried facing the west. Normally they're buried facing east. Well, her headstone used to be right here, but people kept messing with it. The headstone was actually facing the right way, just her body was not, but they've removed it, and it is approximately right here under the tree where she fell at. So this tree's got to be, to even hold somebody, it has to be 130, 40 years old at least. Now, killing her did not stop all the children from dying. And after a while, they began to look for a way to figure it out. And they started placing blame on her sister-in-law, Mary. And 1 year to the date, they hung Mary for the same reason. Now, the dates are actually wrong because it has the same birthday and death day as Elizabeth, which is not true. But she was actually buried this way. Her body is facing east because they didn't believe her to be an actual witch, but just possessed by the evil spirit of Elizabeth. And sure enough, after that happened, all the infant deaths stopped, and they all just let them rest here in peace at this beautiful cemetery. And I don't know about the feud between the Stanleys and the Tilleys if it continued, but it is entrenched the same as the Hatfields and McCoys would be in Tennessee, in Kentucky and West Virginia, here in the hills of northwest Georgia. The Tilleys and the Stanleys are still remembered. And as Esley was telling me, and his crew was telling me, basically, there's not much known about this woman, Polly Long, but there's an urban legend that if you were to say her name by the church, you would hear a scream and a light coming towards you. So I'm not sure the history behind that. If anybody from the local area knows anything about it, you can leave it in the comments. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. And one more thing that is not related to that story is when I was a child, I watched a show called My Ghost Story, and it actually profiled this grave of a guy with the name Nervy, and they were talking about a Blue Ridge witch, which they mentioned Elizabeth, but it was about Nervy, and particularly the grave. The woman felt really uncomfortable and really dizzy and like she was attacked, and that she kept seeing cats around here. And I noticed Nervy's grave kind of looks like a cat head. It's a hand-carved grave, but I did some research on Nervy, and his name was Nervy Garland. He died around 1888. He's only about a year or 2 years old when he passed away. So I don't know if a 1 or 2 year old can do that, if that's even true, or if the lady was just full of poop, but still pretty interesting. Something I remember from my days as a child. All right, guys, that's all here from the Tilley Baptist Church. Hope you guys enjoyed that one. I need you to like, share, and subscribe. I need you to also do the same thing to Esley and his channel. You should go to Entertainment Fanatic Reviews. You should also check out his second channel. You want to plug that real quick?
I Got Friendly Nightmares. This is actually my first video on the channel where I talk all things creepy, so just be on the lookout for that.
And you know where you can find it, the description in this video, so go check it out. That's going to do it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate every one of you. Moon Man, out.